can feel God's mighty power and His grace. I can hear the rush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place.
I invite the prayer chaplain for today, Jeanette Ball, to light the Christ candle and read the daily word.
Good morning. I light the Christ candle today to remind us of the light that is within each one of us, the light that we carry, and to remind us that there is always enough light for everyone, and there's never any shortage of good and light in this world. The word for today is guidance. Today's Sunday, October 21st, 2018, post-snow day. I am one with the loving guidance of a divine mind. Spirit expresses through all of creation as loving guidance, maintaining perfect order in all things. Today, I focus and take time to gain direction in all that I do. Since my essence is of spirit, I am one with divine mind always. And I remember that truth, especially when I feel confused, conflicted, or uncertain of what my next step might be. My mortal mind is limited. It relies on yesterday's fears to make today's decisions. But I choose to move beyond any perceived limitations to the loving guidance always available through the presence of our expanded divine mind. This mind is always within us. This day unfolds before me, filled with satisfaction and joy, as I feel that loving guidance with each and every step I take and every choice that I make. I am reminded that I am one with the loving guidance of divine mind. And from Psalms chapter 119, verse 105, your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. Amen. Oh, and now I will ask you to join me in saying the Lord's Prayer, singing the Lord's Prayer.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will
Sometimes we hear that inner voice, and sometimes it is calling. It is calling our name. Do we turn a deaf ear, or do we walk towards it in wonder of what it is the higher self is trying to reveal? For what we know, there is nothing to heal. There is only something to reveal. So if it's calling to you today, what might it be saying? Could it ask you, where are you going to? What is life showing you today? New ideas, new visions, there are so many roads in front of you. Ask yourself, which one is calling you? A road of understanding, a road of forgiveness, a road for peace, a road of new beginnings. On this day, what road is calling you? What is the world showing you? Perhaps it's a new beginning for yourself. A new hobby, a new way to volunteer, a new way to serve. Do you know where you're going? Do you know what life is showing you? Take a step back. See a butterfly land on your shoulder. Feel the whisper of spirit as the wind brushes gently across your face. Feel the warmth of the sun. See the colors of the world around you. And know, right here and right now, it is all good. for you are being called. And as you gently, with love and peace in your heart, slowly and comfortably come back to this sacred space, know that we are surrounded in the light and love and the presence of the one God, the Spirit. Love. That is the call. So in the book, The Call by Oriah Mountain Dreamer, I read this paragraph a couple of weeks ago, and I had to laugh because it described me as well as many people that I know. So I really wanted to share that with you to start today. And it'll probably make you laugh a little bit. As soon as I can find that little blue sticker that I put in there. There we go. So here's what she has to say. It says, self-acceptance is a practice, a willingness to slowly expand our ability to see ourselves as we are and simply be with what we see. I am passionate, outspoken woman, not me. I have tendency to want rules, but a mind and heart that simply will not let me settle into one size fits all. I think fast, which does not always mean clearly. I talk faster. I want to be wisely quiet, mysteriously silent, deeply contemplative, and sometimes I am all of these things. And sometimes I am none of these things. But when I am with the world, I sometimes am more directive, opinionated, and effective. Occasionally it means I can be downright inspiring, but sometimes it just makes me relentlessly judgmental and annoying and bossy. You can laugh, it's okay. She's talking about her, not me. Okay. I realize that my relentlessness and annoying and bossiness is a part of my other personalities, and they have their challenges, but on occasion, I have convinced myself that I have been overburdened with personality that does not make it easy to live in the spiritual life. Do you know anybody like this besides me? Yeah, thank you for pointing to yourselves out there. So we are all of these things, we are. And in the past, in lesser to degrees, I'm still like that, and I think we all are. As we go on this spiritual journey, we get better each day, but those things pop up. So but when I started reading this book, Oriah made a statement about just doing life easier. Let's do life easier, she said. And I kept hearing the words, and they were like this mantra, urging me to slow down, just practice mindful breathing. I sat out in the car this morning before I came in, and I was just doing mindful breathing. So for me, it was about letting go of perfection, I thought. So for the past few weeks, I had a goal to not be so perfect. I didn't make my bed every day. Oh my God, that is mortal sin in my family. So I didn't, and I kept my house in order, but it wasn't perfect. Right now it isn't perfect either. I didn't make my bed today. So I did simple things though, like getting out of my car slower and driving slower, walking slower through my house, finding ways to, within the chaos, to make life simpler. But then I got this idea, because it says that, that we are to be perfect like our God or our Creator is perfect. So I looked up the word perfect in Aramaic. And it doesn't mean the perfect that we believe perfect to mean. What it means, and the word is gemera. Gemera is the word in Aramaic for perfect. And it means complete, finished, full-grown, mature, all-inclusive. So when you hear that, that changes the perspective of I have to be perfect, right? And so to be perfect then, as your Creator in heaven is perfect, it means to be complete, all-inclusive, be mature, as divine mind is. So to be perfect then is to bring more balance into our life, to slow it down a little bit, to have more perspective. Because when we're out of balance, our personalities shift, and unfortunately, they usually don't shift for the better. And we have these personality struggles, and what they really are is the ego, which is our personality, fighting with our higher self, which is our soul, which is the essence of who and what we are. So then what's the lesson in all this? The lesson then is to accept all of who we are as good, even when we're not at our best and when we're in between. Would you agree with that? This is who we are. Some days a saint, some days a sinner, and most of the time we're somewhere in here fighting which way we should go. So, some of us strike out in anger. Some of us suffer because we suppress anger. Others fake acceptance. They're really the scared introvert, but they're out there like this because they're faking acceptance while they hide inside themselves. And still, so many are afraid to be who they are. They don't fear failure, as Marianne Williamson says, they fear success. So there's something then we need to know, that we all have like split personalities or this shadow side. And you know, if you really knew me, you wouldn't like me. I'm telling you right now. If you really knew me, and we have these shadow sides then that are in contrast, and sometimes they make us crazy. You know, I have a friend, you've heard me speak her about a lot, Tibby, my friend in New York, my best friend, and you'll hear me speak about her all the time, as long as I'm here. Tibby knows every single thing about me. Everything. I know every single thing about Tibby. We even know when we go to the bathroom. That's how close we are. But the thing is, I love her. It wouldn't matter what she said or did. There is nothing that surprises me. Our phone conversations are hysterically funny. She loves me no matter what. See, some of us only love people when you're doing what I want you to do as I think you should do it. And then the minute you stop doing that, I don't love you anymore. Well, that's not love. That's judgment. Can you love people with their split personalities for who and what they are? And it's not a question, oh, that's just Aubrey, or oh, that's just Monica. That's the being, that's the essence. This is a complete package. We have this thing called this spacesuit that we come into, but the soul, the essence of who and what we are, is within us. And that's the love, that's the purity, that's the beauty of it. And so how do we get over this not being willing to accept who we are? We have to go back and look at the split personality, our shadow side. And you remember I told you about on my 60th birthday, that was just last week. On my 60th birthday, when my two friends, they gave me the hamster that sang the Dancing Queen, and then they gave me the little nun that rolled around and did something with her cross. Those are my friends who know me, who accept me at this extreme, please don't preach to us, and this extreme over here, disco dancing. They know me, they love me for who I am. I know you and love you for who you are. And that's the difference about, it's not that we have these split personality and who's going to show up today, and oh my God. It's about I love you no matter how you show up. I love you no matter how you show up. In the Talmud, it says this. Listen to how beautiful this is. Every blade of grass has an angel that bends over and whispers, grow, grow. We need to keep growing. We are being called to grow. You see, there are many parts of who we are, and when one of those parts is out of line, then we have to accept that and look at who we are in that day and just feel it's okay It's okay. And if we want, this is what we can do. I don't know who wrote this, but it's perfect. Take the chains, bolts, and locks from the door of your heart. Let the monster in, and it will just sit there and be. Or you can at any given moment get up and leave it behind. At any given moment, you can get up and leave it behind. See, here's what you need to remember. It's not that what you don't want to be is bad. It's just that if it doesn't serve you anymore, then that's the time to release it. If it doesn't serve you, if it's not for your highest good, release it. A little poem by Robert Louis Stevenson, 2 lines. I have a little shadow that goes in and out of me. Oh my God, yes. And what can be the use of it? More than I can see. This is what we have to understand about shadows, or that dark side, or the dark night of the soul. Dark is not bad. Seeds germinate in the dark. A child grows in the darkness of the womb. In the darkness of our mind, ideas are born. Darkness is nature's time of rest, formation, and incubation. Darkness was always here. In the beginning, it was dark, and in the void was God. St. Augustine in the year 400 wrote this: people travel to wonder at the heights of mountains and at the huge waves of the sea and the long course of rivers and at the vast compass of the ocean, at the circular motion of the stars and the moon and the sun. And yet they pass themselves by without wondering. Why do we not wonder at the beauty of who we are and who each other are? In our lives, there's no such thing as an unimportant day, but we drift through our days without honoring ourselves, without taking the time for the blessing that we gave and that we received. We need to know ourselves at a higher conscious level and get very honest with ourselves. To be in wonder of who we are is then to what? To thine own self be true, because the truth does set you free, depending on how we understand the truth. And what is the utmost truth? Ultimate reality. God is all there is. Ultimate reality is God. God is all there is. You know, and from the song, I know who sang it, but I just can't think of it right now. So do you know where you're going to? Do you know what life is showing through? Do you know? 2 very big, important questions. So the greatest intelligence then is that we have this intelligent law of creative force, and it consciously can be directed and definitely used, and that's co-creating. And that's the 3rd principle of unity. We co-create. We create what is going on in our lives by co-creating with our Creator. There's no mystery here. What you put out comes back to you tenfold, good or bad, not just the good, because the universe always says yes. So if you're putting out there, it then comes back to you. So each demonstration or prayer that's manifested proves over and over again we can direct and control our life. And how do we do that? We all know the answer: by controlling our thoughts, by guarding the temple gates. The law of mind is a natural law in the spiritual world, just like electricity and the law of gravity and all those things are the laws in our physical world. Truth, the truth of who and what we are, is laying latent within each one of us, waiting to be called to tell the truth about all things. We all have a call. And it doesn't mean just because you're at this stage of your life that, well, you've answered that call, because there's always another one and another one. Now, that doesn't mean that we have to be a priest or a rabbi or a minister or even Mother Teresa. It means we're being called to a higher purpose. We have a mission, a reason to be. And if you are alive, this is just my own personal belief, trust me, your mission in life is not yet complete. There are days when I say, oh God, please, can I come home? And God says, nope, not done with you. Oh, damn. So how many times then has divine mind called you? And how many times have you turned that deaf ear? So, oh, that's not possible. Oh, that's a crazy idea. And you walk away from it. So Oriah, Mountain Dreamer, asked this: how much longer can we live like this? How much longer? How much longer can I live without spirit as my beloved partner and constant source of inner peace? I know for me, I can't. I just can't. Because without it, I fall apart. I absolutely fall apart. How many days then, she says, are you too busy for God? You're too busy to meditate. You have to do so much in the morning. Well, I can't journal because in the morning well, you can journal when you get home. How many days can I be too busy for God? How many more times can I jump down someone's throat because I'm too tired to see straight? Because we don't take the time to care for ourselves. How many times, she says. I've heard the call. I have heard the call. And I want to tell you, it's not an easy thing if you're willing to listen to what it is saying. It's just to do things easier. Direct life in a kinder way. Accept who I am and doing what I can to accept who each one of you are. So by loving myself more and being gentle with myself, I can be more loving and gentle with you. Here's what we have to realize, though. No one, and I mean no one, can hurt your feelings. No one can leave you out. All of this stuff is the monsters of yesterday that we're not willing to walk away from. I am not powerful enough to hurt you. And if you give up your power, that is not my fault. You are not powerful to hurt me. And if I allow you to hurt me, then I am giving away my power. And I can't do that anymore. One of the greatest things that I have discovered in the last 3 weeks of my life is that what you think of me is none of my business. What I think of me is my business. And that needs to be the same for each one here. That's the 11th commandment, according to Dr. Ernest Holmes. We have to stop getting into each other's business. Teddy Roosevelt had this to say about critics, and I think that this is the most profound and the most important point of what I have to say today. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done better. The credit goes to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust, sweat, and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs and comes short again and again and knows great enthusiasm, great devotion, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows that in the end triumph or high achievements, and who at worst, if he fails, at least fails daring greatly so that his place shall never be with those timid souls who neither know victory or defeat. I say to you, whatever you do, impose upon yourself the task of acceptance and happiness. Happiness is great, and don't forget to laugh. Happiness is like that butterfly in the woods that I was speaking about. Let it sit with you a while. Just breathe in the fresh smell of the forest. See the butterfly at peace with the world. Be at peace with yourself and be at peace with each other. Sure, there's things that we don't all agree about. So disagree graciously. Love others, but first love yourself. You yourself above all else. You, all of you above all else, deserve your own love and affection. When you can say in the morning, good morning, face, how are you today? When you can say, just be gentle with yourself. When you're looking for something and instead of saying, damn, where with it, you can say, okay, sweetie, what is it you're looking for? When you can start to talk to yourself the way you talk to your friends and make your friends your family and make your family your friends, when we can unite it and put it all together, do you know where you're going to? Do you like what life is showing you? Love, guys, love. The Buddha says this, meditate daily, live purely, be quiet. Do your work with mastery like the moon. Come out from the clouds and shine. Each one of you, whether you like me or don't like me, whether you agree with me or don't agree with me, whether I like you or don't like you. By the way, I like all of you. I love you. But do I agree with everything? No, I don't agree with everything. But here's what you need to know. You and me, we are all shining stars. When the Big Bang came and all of those stars burst out, those were the souls of the universe, and that's who you and I are. Today is the day that you can walk into the light, knowing without a doubt you are indeed perfect, whole, complete, just as you are. And accept it and honor it in each one of yourselves and of each other. I beseech you to do that this day. And so ends this lesson, and so begins a very new day.